Let us get practical about the organizational dynasty framework. How does this actually look within the context of a modern day organization? Once again, whether it's a business, entrepreneurial, a major corporate that might be listed within a stock exchange, might be a non-profit, charity, educational, religious of nature, doesn't matter what the context. What does matter is the mindset of the leader, especially the senior executive leader, and how they consider the future of their organization. It's interesting if we have to ask ourselves the question, what is the greatest failure of leadership? I would very quickly respond to the question, it most probably has something to do with the succession of that leader. For the mere reason, by the time the leader is handed over to the next generation of leaders, they're no longer there to see if it actually helps and works and goes forth effectively. Let me share one case study that I personally was involved in over the last couple of years. I was contacted by the CEO of a multinational organization within the space of civil engineering. The leader contacted me to talk to me about how do I create a succession pipeline for my own organization, ensuring that our leadership bench is strong and healthy and able to lead into the next generation. After a number of sessions that we spent together, I shared the model of the organizational dynasty framework with this leader that got him really excited. And he said, Marcel, originally I only thought about getting a couple of people that might be able to one day be promoted into the executive team. But looking at this entire framework, I can now clearly see that it is much wiser to completely transform our organization into an environment where there's a constant flow of young leaders that are being reproduced and raised within the context of our business. Nothing wrong with a pipeline, but I sometimes like to equate the pipeline with a major roller coaster ride. You know, a roller coaster ride is a massive thrill as long as you are in the ride and each one of those little spokes are well in place. But imagine for one moment you going at 100 kilometers an hour over a roller coaster and just one of those little spokes are missing. The effect would be devastating. It would completely, most probably dislocate that little cart and everybody would get hurt in the process. The speed at which modern day organizations run is frequently associated with the speed of a roller coaster. Yet when we think about succession, it seems to be a little bit contrary within our mind that succession and reproduction, the raising of my children, takes time. So we needed a new metaphor. We needed a new way of describing this. And one of the metaphors that I loved was moving from just a pipeline to a more platform approach. Staying with the idea of a theme park, in many of these different theme parks across the world, we see a kind of a ride which is a water slide. Now let me explain this. You have a water slide that have got a lot of large pools, and each one of these pools are interconnected with a bit of a slide in between. You would get a big inflatable tube and you would walk right to the top of the pool and get into the first pool. And in this first pool you would usually go around and around and sit and chat to the other people in the ride, and you can pretty much remain in that pool indefinitely. Or till the pool starts filling up, and then usually the lifeguard would chase some of the people down the ride into the next pool. And again, when you get to the second pool, you would continue to enjoy the ride and go around and around until you decide to ride the next rapid. This metaphor of the water slide, for me, is a much more healthy way of looking at succession in an organization than trying to build a roller coaster. This is the move from pipeline thinking to platform thinking. So within the context of the business case study, we created a team, a pool, if you want to call it that, of which we called the future business leaders. These were young men and women who were qualified engineers, usually between the age of about 35 to 45, that went into this pool. In the pool, there were many different things which they had to learn. Already I explained the organizational dynasty framework. Those were critical components that was constantly being spoken of. They were trained in the understanding of what does it take to lead a business? How do we operate from a governance point of view? How do we understand the roles and the responsibilities of an executive leader? You see, the beauty is, because you were part of the pool, was not a guarantee that you're going to become the successor. or that you will be promoted when there is space in the next pool. The opportunity in the pool was to grow and to develop as an individual. Riding the rapid to the next pool was still up to you. So it immediately took out that expectation, because I've done the course, I've done the program, I've been in the mentorship or the coaching, now you must promote me. We quickly realized that the future business leaders aren't the only pool. There's a secondary pool known as the future technological leaders. These were leaders who were not planning to become executive leaders, but they were absolutely the cream of the crop in the technical engineering aspects, who also code lead all the innovation and the creativity and the breakthrough ideas within the organization. At the same time, we realized also that the executives needs to be prepared in how to think about transition and handing over. So we created another pool with the executive team. At the same time, we realized, listen, most of the executives are not even close to the opportunity of retiring or that age. And we had to create another pool, perhaps the big splash at the bottom of the water slide, which we call the succession and mentoring pool. These were the gentlemen and ladies that's already way into their 60s, and they are busy transferring knowledge and skill. At the same time, we said, well, we're busy building this beautiful water slide. How do we start backtracking? And we started considering a pool for bursary students, young students who are still in university busy studying. We created a University of Life pool for young people who are not yet professionally registered engineers working towards that. A lot of the professional people were working as project managers. How do we create a project leadership pool? And we were dreaming about many different pools that you can still add on and add on. The end of this entire case study brought us to a place where at any given moment you can look at this organization and see all the different pools in existence. And when we have the opportunity for either promotion or a new project team, or perhaps diversification within the organization, or ultimately when we're talking about leadership succession, especially in the senior ranks, we don't have to go out into the market and try and advertise a role to be replaced. We can go into our own pools and go and find the right individual for the next season that can co-lead that company. I want to leave you with a question. And again, this is not just a question for you. This is a question I'm asking myself quite frequently. When I look at my organization right now, and I have to think about different pools, I have to think about who are the potential members that can effectively take the ride into the next role, into the next responsibility. Does your environment look like a pipeline where everything is just moving at an unbelievable speed? Or is there effective time for growth and development so that I can handpick my successor that one day will need to move into my seat?